Recording?
Yep, I'm
All
recording.
right. So we're really going to be talking about your business, and we have a big listing push coming up. I can tell you that statistically, this couldn't come at a better time. That in July, 32% of mortgage owners across the U.S., 32% only made a partial payment on their mortgage in July, and 19% made no payment. And so what that means to you is more listings are going to be coming up as time continues. And we've been real busy now, and I think this is going to continue for some time for people that had a little bit of the mortgage forbearance and that time period has expired. And now we're getting into everything is due and listings are going to have to come up and be sold because people just can't perhaps get out of where they are now. All right, next. So, of course, KW's mantra is to be agent first, and we're all talking about being very disruptive, and we're dedicated to providing you with the tools and the expertise to grow your business well into the future. And this really segues right into what KW is all about, and it's agent-driven tools, being innovative, being disruptive, and getting out there with something before everyone else grabs it. Okay. So if you look, this is what a typical listing presentation could look like, right? Everyone would sit around the table and we'd have an agent and we'd have the sellers and buyers, and we'd be talking about how we're going to do business, and we'd be sharing our screens, we'd be handing them a paper CMA, we'd be handing them a listing presentation, and this is not going to work anymore for every scenario. So my question to you is, what tools do you have to potentially meet a seller or a buyer virtually? And if you don't, you will. So this is the new you. He's very happy. Taking a listing from your kitchen table. So this is really where we're going with business, right? So we all have to learn how to work virtually. And the new seller or buyer is using the KW app, we hope. If you have not branded your KW app to you, please take a minute, get on command, and brand the app to you, because you will be able to see what your opportunities and your customers are looking at, and you'll be able to help guide them into finding them a home. The same thing with virtual appointments. I did a couple virtual appointments before coming to KW, and they really worked great. But you have to have your ducks in a row. You have to be prepared, and you have to know what to present to them as the knowledge expert, because you're not going to have that eyeball to eyeball feeling with them. So we're going to start preparing for virtual. Okay. In order to do that, we're going to talk about education and preparing you to go from opportunity to assigned listing in the next 10 classes. Again, this has come up very quick. It started as a brainchild idea through a telephone conversation among a couple of the TLs, and then it just turned into taking notes and saying, oh my God, this is what we've got to do, and we've got to roll it out if we're going to grab all these listings that are going to start coming due. August 1st was the first day of people missing mortgages in a big way, and so we're going to have the opportunity for more listings coming soon. Just when you thought you could get a breath and business is going to slow down, I don't think that's going to happen. So the first one's going to start today. It's going to start with Antoine telling us a little bit about his segment. Go ahead. And this really came about as a whole team. So you know that we operate a lot as franchise, and we operate a lot as individual offices. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we're coming together more and more as a whole team, because power in numbers, right? So we're starting to leverage who we are and the great big footprint that we serve, from West Virginia to Richmond and everything in between. And so you're going to see a lot more coming from us as a power team. So here's the 10 learning modules. You guys all ready to write dates down? Okay. Today we're going to talk about using MLS to find listings. We have 2 different MLS systems and that I know of, if not more. And that's going to start today from 2 to 3, and that's going to be hosted by Antoine. Then we're going to have the next one on August 10th. There's going to be 2. Working with FSBOs and working with expireds. Working with FSBOs is going to be really, really powerful, guys, and I'm going to tell you why, and I don't know if you've noticed this lately, but people that are starting to get that pressure of, oh my gosh, I have to sell. I thought mortgage forbearance was mortgage forgiveness, and now they want all 3 or 4 months of payments that I've been putting off paid now, and now I have to sell, and I'm going to try to sell and keep as much equity as I can, and we're going to see a lot more for sale by owners popping. My Facebook feed has been going like crazy when I subscribe to a couple different neighborhoods, and I see a lot of FSBOs popping on. So be prepared to work with those. The same thing with expireds. Farming at a high level, this is going to get into a lot of nuts and bolts of farming and what we do when we're farming. How can we have an impact and an effect? Because again, the old way of farming and door knocking, seeing people face to face, getting involved in the schools. Schools aren't in session. In many places, they're not going back to school. So, putting your farming ads on the school schedules for football, and things like that. Like, we need to come up with new farming techniques, and so this will uncover that. Creating a pre-listing and a listing consult. So when we go on a listing appointment, we're used to going face-to-face and giving them tangible things. And so this is going to shift gears again into how do we prepare for the virtual? What do we offer? How do we share it? How do we go about it? And what components do we put into our listing consult packet so when we're done presenting that we're ready to get them to sign and they're going, please, can I list with you? Getting a home ready for the market. This is, again, looking at a house through several lenses. Anytime we go on a listing presentation, we can see things as we walk through the house, right? We're going to have to get used to doing this in a different way. We're going to give you the tools to do it virtually because you're going to find oftentimes you're going to have to tell a seller to slow down. Because if you've ever videoed a house and you take your phone and you want to show everyone and your phone's going this way or you're wiping through so fast that people just can't see, right? So it's learning how to do a presentation to get the home ready for the market, getting the details that you need in order to go. Pricing the home right to sell. We're going to jump into doing CMAs. And a lot of these classes are being taught by those that do it very, very well within our team. And they're going to give us a lot of the tricks of the trade and what they've done. There are several ways to pull a CMA. There's several ways to address a CMA. And there's several ways to present a CMA. So this is really drilling down to what matters. How do you get the right information to be that knowledge expert so they're not looking to anybody else in order to get that listing? How to hold a virtual open house. Again, brand new territory. We have an expert on our team that's going to be presenting to us from another market center on how to hold the open house and how to do it virtually. These are skills that we're really going to get honed in on from people who have done it and have done it successfully. How to sell and market your listing in a virtual environment. Again, what tools are people using? What response are they getting? What are they doing with the responses? And how are they seeing the most success? What are they spending in order to get those results? Negotiation tactics and best practices. It's really going to be an overview of what are we learning? What have we learned that worked really well, translating into the virtual environment? How do you negotiate virtually? right? What negotiation tactics are we coming up with that we can use to get people to the finish line in multiple transactions? How do you position a buyer's contract in order to be the winning offer? Because things have changed and they continue to change. And so we're going to learn some best practices on how to position your contract so that you're not going 6 or 7 offers deep just to get your buyer home. Any questions on the classes? I know there's a bazillion until we teach them. Is there anything you guys think that is missing from this? Because you can see this is a timeline going through August 20th. Is there anything missing that you would like to learn about working in this virtual environment that we haven't put out here that you'd like us to teach? Nothing?
This is Tia Williams. Not anything that's missing, but I just have a question around the thought process of having the pricing a home right to sell listed after the listing consult. Because is that when you go to the listing consult, shouldn't you be ready or prepared to speak to the client about what you want to list the house for?
You're exactly right, but we had to give some consideration to all of the speakers that we have and their availability for their calendars to teach some of these classes.
Okay.
And so it looks like it's a little bit out of sync as far as the actual process, because it is, right? I mean, you do want to know that before you go, but we had to take advantage of calendars as we had space.
All right, well, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Good point. Good question. So is there anything missing? I mean, that I would love to get you guys really involved into, if there's something that you want to know that we didn't cover in here or don't think will be a subtopic as we get into this, let us know.
Pauline, there's a question. Could we have something about how to use command campaigns to get listing leads?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's a good one.
Maybe we can piggyback and see if Kyle has something planned for that, maybe, since that's Kyle's kind of forte, maybe we can get him to come up with something during this time.
Yeah.
And I would ask, Kyle has a ton, and he's done a great job. I applaud him for his work of getting everyone up and active on command. But what I would be interested in is if you need to take it in 2 parts for folks who still are learning command, that's one piece of it. But I'd like to see more use cases, how you actually, what are people putting in campaigns? What are they talking about? What's successful? Not all of the mechanics of how to enter the information, but make it use case oriented.
Okay, I think that's a good point. And I think that we also have to understand how this interfaces with Google, right? So if you guys have not yet attended one of the Google classes that's been offered, then I would tune in. I hope maybe you can see if we can do another Google class. If you create your Google page and you're found in Google Analytics, and then you use the Google AdWords into your hashtags and you put them into the description, that elevates you, right? And to be sold is to be found. So you have to start with, how am I found? How do I get more hits, and how am I relevant? So in order to do that, you have to have everything interconnected so that you go to the top. I can tell you that as a team, we've got now 40 people on this call, I would urge everyone to like and comment on every single Facebook everything that you see posted across the Alliance team individually, because every time you like it and every time you put a comment, even if it's a one-word comment that says that's fantastic or it's beautiful or congratulations or nice job, it also boosts it in the results to be found.
You just gave a great example. Nicole has done the how to build the page, and this is exactly what I'm asking for. Let's take it the step further. You know, there's one class on how to build the page, but there's a second piece of it of searching the keywords. What would be good keywords for, you know, whatever somebody's doing based upon their farm?
Got it. And so keywords is very, very important. And so you really kind of hit on another thing. You want to use the farm name, right? And anything having to do with the farm. So if you're creating a Facebook ad that has to do with a farm, use the community name, use the name of the schools that serve the community, anything having to do with what serves the community, you want to somehow get into a hashtag or a keyword. Good stuff. So we're going to grab Kyle and we're going to grab the Google class again. What else can we do? Do you want to get more into the command aspects of what marketing pieces to use as outreach? Because we'll get into it when we do the preparing for a listing, but there is an entire very professional looking listing presentation packet in Command.
Hi, Pauline, this is Kay. Can I tag on to what you were talking about before on the hashtags?
Yeah.
And could we maybe talk about doing a blog on a farm as part of a strategy to really dominate that farm area?
Yeah.
Okay. And search components built into that, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, blogs are great. And I'll tell you, I don't know how many of you love to cook. I know Cynthia does because she posts stuff all the time and I get to see some of her recipes. But if you do that and you post like a cooking recipe or something like that to the community newsletter, you can also do something like that where you're sharing a cookbook recipe thing in a farm. So in each of these segments, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to have some idea sharing, right? And we're going to have some brainstorming around it. We will have people present of things that's worked for them, but I think in order to take this to the next level for us, it really is on us to do what we're doing right now. Like, let's brainstorm behind each thing and come up with ideas and, you know, blogs and hashtags and keywords. What else can we do? So wrap your brain cells around it, digest this for a little bit, and as you come up with some ideas, then let us know. Sharing really takes us all to the next level, and so I know you guys are all about that. Antoine, are you on yet?
Yep.
Hi.
Hello.
Are you ready to take us on to the next segment?
Cool. Absolutely. So what we're going to do now is talk a little bit about the MLS and how you use it in a way that's conducive to building your business. So first, you guys need some participation. What do you use the MLS for when it comes to listings, and how do you generate listings by using your MLS? What are some of the things that you could be looking for?
Can you look for expires?
There you go. Good job, Makiba. I was going to say, if someone's taking Ignite, you should know the answer to this. You should be looking for expired. You can be looking for information on individuals who are absentee owners. So if you want to target individuals that are having listings. One of the things that you guys are thinking about, Samar just said absentee owners, as you guys are thinking about what you're doing to generate listings over the next couple of months, you need to think larger than what you would normally think. As Pauline alluded to earlier, there's a large swath of individuals who are currently in forbearance. The number is, I think, 7.49% I read this morning, that are currently still in forbearance as we're 4 months out. So the potential is there is a large swath of homes that could possibly go into a foreclosed status. So if you're not thinking about how does your business handle and actually go towards these people as we're building out this 30 listings in 30 days program that's going to start on September, you're really putting yourself and your business at a disservice. So what I'm going to do is go through the MLS. Obviously, I have Bright MLS. This is also available in Matrix in a different form. I'm sure Patrice will get information to you guys. The information is the same. It's more about the content and what you're asking for and the scripting around that we're going to talk about. So if you're in Central Virginia, the way that you get to these items that we're talking about is very different, but the conversation and the information is very much the same that you're looking for, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing. Oh, I can't. Can you give me access, Hope, to share my screen real quick? While we're doing that, someone tell me something good that's happening in their business right now. No one's got something good happening in their business?
We're seeing, in our office, we're seeing our listings just as strong as month over month in the previous years.
Awesome. That is
And so,
awesome.
yeah, you can't have the COVID excuse. And we've got people capping for the first time. So that's exciting too.
That's awesome. Congratulations to you guys down there. It's a crazy market, and obviously all of Virginia's definitely benefiting from it. And that's, I think, a large part of why we are pushing this 30 listings in 30 days, because we understand when it's such a high intensive seller's market, the individuals who have the seller listings are in control of the market. So that's what this big push is. So what you'll see is here's your MLS page. Again, it's very different if you are in the CVR MLS, the matrix there. But what you want to do is go to your research. And for agents up here in Northern Virginia, you'll be using Remind Pro. I'm not sure if that's a feature down in CVR MLS or if you have something different. But when you pull it up, you'll see that there's a dashboard that comes up. And so what this is, or any tool that you are, the whole point of this is finding that seller listings. The great part about Remind is when you click in a search, it pulls up a map. So say you want to either farm a neighborhood or you want to start looking at information for a neighborhood. And I know you guys will talk about this in farming, but real quick, who knows what's the minimum percentage of conversion rate you should have in a farm for it to be viable?
7%.
There you go. That's my Ignite, folks. 7%. At least 7% turnover rate per year if you want to have a viable farm. So as we're going through this, let's say I want to look in South Riding as far as some information I want to find on homes there, because maybe I live in that neighborhood and I just want to communicate. So when you type that number in, or that area, you're going to see here it popped up a bunch of homes. Let me get rid of these tags because I was playing around with it earlier. Sorry about that. All right, let's try this again. So when you get in here, you're going to type in your area that you're looking at. And so as you see here, I've typed in South Riding. On the side, at least for this, you have the ability to look at a bunch of different items. Those items include the property value. So if you want to overlay your property values, you can. Home equity, they actually give you the equity in the homes. Right now, 1,240 results came in. As I zoom in, those results will change and it becomes more hyper-local or hyper-focused. So let's say I'm going to zoom in on this 102 homes here. You can check and see owner time. You can check and see your sales score. So this is a score basically depending on what they come up with their algorithm on how likely the person is to sell. Obviously, we talked about absentee owners. If you want to see if there's a renter in that property, it could possibly become a buy and a sell situation. Then you have flood zone risk, which is not really something I use, or building type, and then land use. So as you see here, let's say we scrolled in and there's 160 results. So if you click on any of these results, one of the cool things about Remind is it pulls up all of the information on this property. So this property here, say this is something we're looking at, they have a low sales score. They've been, this is the estimated value. They're currently off market. And it gives you a lot of stats from everything from square footage, tax amount. But as you go up top, it gives you different information on the property itself. And when you click this associated people, it will give you the names and if they have the numbers and even email addresses for people in this area. Okay, so it's really giving you an opportunity to look at that. And also it gives you if that number's on a do not call list or not. So it really gives you a lot of information. And let's overlay a couple things on this. So let's say we want individuals who's got equity of 250 or more. Let's see if we only want to talk to people who are actually, let's say they got a high cell score, a medium to high cell score. We only want those, so let's apply that. In addition, let's look at some absentee, because we know that a lot of this market that's being hurt right now, the people that are unemployed are renters. So there's a lot of investor owners who are currently having to cover mortgage payments for properties they didn't intend on. So it may be a great time to talk to investors who own multiple properties to see if they would like to list their homes. So you have absentee in-state and absentee out-of-state. You can apply that. And you see as we zoom out, got a little bit too filtered. So we have one here, and obviously in your different areas, you change up those filters. And so when I pull up this one, it creates the ability for me to see what's going on. And again, I can get their absentee owner, tells me a little about their tax record, tells me how much they owe. Their loan balance is 221, the value is 492. Obviously, any of these numbers are things that you want to check. You want to do a CMA on and all the things that you're going to learn throughout the classes. But this is just a great information. You can export this. You can do mailing labels right from the system, or export it and create mailing labels. So if you wanted to send out things, or you can just create a call list. And again, this is Associated People. And as you see with here, it has their number. They're on a do not call list, but this number, who else are all individuals, and their contact information, you'll be able to find email addresses if it has it. It's been owned for 11 years. So this person's someone that's owned this property for a while. We know the average person is moving between every 7 to 10 years. So this would be a viable person I might want to call or start to nurture if I want to get listings. So these are the things that we are talking about. So first of all, any questions about this? And again, I know you guys have something like this down in CVR MLS. I'm just not exactly sure what it's called. And we'll make sure that we get you information of where you can get this information from as well.
Yeah, can I say something on that real quick? Because I'm getting some texts from people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for those that are on Richmond, just take notes and listen to what he's saying as far as the strategy and the theory. There are going to be some differences also when we get into contracts. Theirs are different than ours. But we will do our own MLS class, but be writing down the concept of looking for absentee owners and expireds, and then we'll teach you how to do it on our system here. Thanks, Antoine.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
again,
we could not in good conscience exclude Richmond, even though some of this does not apply absolutely perfect. But, you know, I mean, we want to offer the training to everybody throughout the Alliance group. And so I'm sorry that it does not absolutely fit like a glove, but we'll make it fit. Like Patrice is there. She's already thought about all the ways to make sure that you guys get the tools you need.
Awesome. Any questions about anything in general when you're pulling up or using things that you're looking for? Like we talked about, absentee owners are great. That script is really important, just to talk to them about what's going on in the market, how it's affecting them. Ask them questions. They'll let you know. And again, a large part of the individuals that are currently unemployed, especially with the $600 running out per week just this past week, are those individuals that are making less than normally $40,000 or $50,000. So they're the renters. So there's an opportunity not only for you to help the seller, but possibly help that renter in a situation as well. So think larger than you normally would. In order to achieve 30 listings in 30 days, you can't do what you've been normally doing. And so the idea is as you're developing your plan for September 1st through September 30th, is that you're thinking larger than what you would normally do. You're going to push yourself outside of your comfort zone. So that way, even if you end up with 10 listings, did you really lose? If you've never had 10 listings in 1 month, did you lose at that point? So it's one of those things that we are, as a group, we are intending to push our agents to a higher level as far as the way that you think. If you've been involved in any of the Ignite classes that we've been doing, that's the entire idea, is think larger, make your world bigger, because that way you can grow and grow to an extent past of what you think you could. So it's just things like that we're going to be talking about over the next 10, 11 classes, starting on Monday, like with the for sale by owners and expireds. We're going to get deep into systems with those classes. If you're afraid of for sale by owners, we're going to give you the scripts to talk through them. If you're afraid of expires, you're going to have the systems. So it all starts on Monday, really diving deep. And I just wanted to give you guys an idea of some of the tools you have now to gather that information and build your database. Awesome. Thank you. And as she said, for Richmond, some of the info that I'm speaking about can be found on Realist. Thank you so much for that information. So Realist is one of those, it's the comparable system to this where you can find a lot of this information as well. Any questions from me?
That was a really great presentation, Antoine. I like how you walked everyone through the how-tos on Remine.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I will stop sharing my screen. All right. Anything else from anyone as far as questions or anything like that that you might have, a little clarity that you guys might need before we end this thing, and then we'll get going in full speed starting on Monday. Again, the biggest thing is we're going to have different contests per office, per our group, from the last person to get the listing signed to the first person to get a signed listing. So there's going to be a lot of cool stuff. And the idea, again, is that this whole month of August is we are preparing you guys with all the knowledge and tools so that way you can get a listing, get it sold, and nurture it after to get referrals. Ultimately, what this is going to do is, you guys don't realize it, it's going to set up your fourth quarter to possibly be your best quarter of the year, especially with what COVID has done to a lot of businesses. It's a way for you to really take back and take control of your business and start off fourth quarter strong and have it possibly roll over into the first quarter of what 2021 will hopefully be a much better year for everyone. So again, it's just a push. We're going to push you out of your comfort zone. Be prepared to be stressed, and it's okay. It's absolutely okay. There was a question about the video, when it'll be available. So Hope's going to get that out to us, and essentially we'll get it out to you guys as soon as we're done with this. It'll be recorded, and we'll be able to shoot this message out to you guys. Any other questions you guys have or anything like that? Be very, a lot of the classes that you guys are going to have, you're going to be able to, I know there's some large agents from Reston hosting some classes. I'm having a large agent from one of my classes assist as well. So you guys are going to get a lot of knowledge from a lot of people you normally wouldn't hear from. And again, the details is what you're going to get. So good luck to everyone. And that's all I got.
Hey, Christiana, what's happening, girl? You've been too quiet.
How are you guys doing? I'm really excited about all of the classes that are in store for you guys. Again, that as Antoine had said, we had some top producers that's going to be teaching some of these classes. And I hope that all of you guys will be able to join us. And with that thought, have a fabulous day. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next one.
Take care. See you Monday.
Bye, guys.
Bye.